Alright, a couple more of these motor conductor questions. This is 230.2, question 6. Refer to the nameplate shown in figure 230.128. The branch circuit for the motor is supplied from a 277/480 volt 3-phase 4-wire panel board. The minimum size branch circuit conductors for the motor are blank AUG. So they give us all this information up here, and that's great, but all we really care about for sizing circuit conductors is the horsepower rating and then the voltage that we're actually using, which, since we have a 277 480 volt panel board and our options are 230 460, we're going to be using 480. So we're going off that 460 volt rating. So table 430.250, 460 volts down to 15 horsepower. Look at that, it's 21 amps again. So back to 310.15B16. And 21 amps. First we got to multiply by 1.25 for 26.25. Round that up to 35 for 10 gauge. So that's going to be C for question 6. 10 gauge conductors. Okay. Now here, these ones are a little bit trickier. Question 9. Motor nameplate information. It's 208/230/460 volt 3-phase 200 horsepower motor. It's supplied by a 3-pole breaker in a 120/208 volt 3-phase 4-wire panel. The minimum size circuit conductors are going to be blank AUG or KC mil, where 3 parallel sets of conductors are used. So we go through the same steps that we went through for the other motor questions to figure out the current, and then we're going to divide that current by 3 to figure out the actual size conductors we're going to pull when we're pulling 3 parallel conductors. So we have, 200 horsepower, and we're using 208. So 208 volts at 200 horsepower gives us 528 amps. And 528 times 1.25 divided by 3 equals 220 amps. So go back to table 310.15B16 again, and the 220 amps off of the 75-degree column. Sorry, 220 amps rounds up to 230, so that's going to be 4 aught. And remember, so we're paralleling 3 sets of conductors, so assuming they are all of equal resistance, as they should be, the current's going to be divided equally. So to size that conductor, we just do the same thing we would do for any other motor conductor. Use the horsepower and voltage, horsepower rating and supply voltage, and table 430.250, assuming it's a 3-phase motor. Figure out the table FLA rating, and then multiply that by 1.25, and then the only difference with parallel conductors is then we divide that by the number of conductors in parallel to figure out the actual current rating needed for each individual conductor. And then same thing, just back to 310.15B16. In this case, 220, we have to round up to 230 for 4 aught. So that'll be E, none of these then, for 9. So our options are 2-aught, 1-aught, 3-aught, and 250 KC mil.